we're seeing another Life Orb Azumarill from Nibs here with the Porygon and DD Azumarill, Scizor, Delmize, and Hatterene. A similar team to what you two were running in the last game.
Yeah, yeah, and Rozzie's got Whimsicott, Lapras, Clefairy, Politoed, I believe the mustache fish, as they refer to it as.
Yeah, the Barraskewda, the biggest threat in the metagame.
Yeah, crazy fast, crazy strong. I'm really excited to see how they utilize it.
I am too. I want to see an interesting idea of like when does the Gudra come to the battles versus the Lapras versus as we see the Lapras Clefairy lead. So I guess we're seeing that now versus your standard size spam Trick Room lead with Indeedee Hatterene.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a pretty solid lead. It doesn't look like he had a lot of ways to like guarantee shut down the Trick Room if Nibs decided to go for it. So you kind of don't want to commit to like Whimsicott speed stuff. And Barraskewda, while very fast and very frail, is very fast and very strong, is also quite frail. So I think it's nice to, you can set up your Veil here, you can redirect some stuff, you got your Friend Guard ready to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Barraskewda gets, it takes 70% from a Clefairy Moonblast. So, not the bulkiest, not the bulkiest Pokemon. So, we see the Lapras Gigantamax here, assumingly setting up the Veil as early as possible.
Yeah, it's always nice to just get, a Helping Hand, so just going for big damage as much as you can get. Indeed, going for a Safeguard. I guess you in this position, you know that you can't lose the you can get Trick Room up, so you don't need to worry about redirecting anything.
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, and the Safeguard in case you're worried about Clefairy's Sing shenanigans, but just a Max Lightning. I guess Rossie's a little worried about falling to sleep themselves.
Yeah, I think the Max Lightning is smart. Losing the Expanding Force boosts and Max having to have the Max Mindstorm put it back up to keep getting those boosts. But it seems as though JD is not really particularly caring about that and going straight for Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, also, we didn't see any form of Life Orb recoil damage from Lapras. With the Friend Guard Clefairy, it'd be very reasonable to have a weakness policy on there, but it could also be like Clay to get maximum turns of screens.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you can see the weakness policy here, but you could also potentially see it on the Gudra. Although you could see Assault Vest on the Gudra as well. So it's very interesting to see as we go on what the item choices are going to be.
Yeah,
that did absolutely nothing to Lapras.
Yeah, Lapras tanked that, so this looks like it's a bulky set, and they're both going for Helping Hand. Solid chunk out of the Hatterene, just missing the KO, but those screens are going to be set up, and they're going to be around for a minimum of 4 turns now.
Yeah. It's interesting because on the beginning, it seems as though Rozzy is in a really good position. Just getting the screens up, getting the terrain switched, and kind of stalling out Trick Room. But the thing is that Nibs has not Dynamaxed yet. We have to keep in mind. So if he can somehow stall the screens and then get a second Trick Room and his Dynamax up, then he's in a really good position.
Yeah, yeah. This also isn't a position where you want to switch in one of your Trick Room sweepers. Alright, so Expanding Force, just single target now because Rozzy very smartly took care of that terrain. Ooh, and Life Dew Clefairy. That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that one before. Outside of maybe week 1 of the format. So
yeah,
I like that tech there, especially when you have the screens and you can just deal damage on your own with the Lapras.
Yeah. Now, Rozzy's going to get the Rain set up. So Lapras has gotten all 3 of the things that it typically gets from its Dynamax: Electric Terrain, Rain, Screens. So if that Max Lightning was based off of Thunder, Rozzy's got a nice 100% accurate Thunder right now. Freeze Dry is also a nice move. Hydro Pump's going to deal a lot of damage. Rozzy's not in a bad position right now.
Yeah. You never know. We could just see a random Helping Hand Blizzard get thrown out.
Yeah. And now because of Trick Room and Clefairy being so slow, Rozzy also has really quick recovery to anything. So not only with Friend Guard and Screens is the damage mitigated, but recovery is also a super fast option.
We're seeing the Helping Hand from the Clefairy and the Follow Me from the Indeedee. Again, another Dazzling Gleam is coming out, doing not that much again, is the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, much less damage with those greens up. Freeze Dry, gonna get the KO on Indeedee. You know, nice. Now you can go for the kill onto that Trick Room setter and just keep speed control in your area. But on the downside, you're giving Nibs a switch into one of the Trick Room sweepers.
Yeah, and it seems as though Dhelmise is probably the right option here, being able to hit both of the opposing Pokemon super effectively, and not take much in return with the help of the Assault Vest.
Yeah. This could be a kind of a scary time to go for like a max overgrowth in the Lapras because you don't know if it's weakness policy yet. But you know, max Phantasm into the Clefairy seems like super safe. You know, you lower the defenses, so you kind of like eliminate the screens being a factor. And you probably, with the Trick Room running out, want to do what you can to preserve Hatterene to like get the speed control back in your favor for the next turn.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with all of that analysis. I do think like the Phantasm plus whatever move coming out from the Hatterene would probably KO the Clefairy, but I'm not entirely sure if through screens and Friend Guard that an Overgrowth will KO this Lapras.
Yeah. So and again, you could also just be proccing a weakness policy. So
yeah,
Clefairy's going to go to half with that Dazzling Gleam. Nibs does decide to go for the max Overgrowth into the Lapras. Let's see if he's able to get the KO on it. Oh,
wow.
Nice. Dhelmise is strong.
Yeah, that's a base like 131 attack, so putting in some work, just a little bit under Tyranitar's attack, I believe.
Nibs goes for what I personally would have considered the riskier play and gets very well rewarded for it. Also, it looks like that Clefairy is not min speed because it is going after Dhelmise in the Trick Room.
That is true. Another interesting thing is, have we seen this Clefairy click Follow Me yet? I believe it's clicked either Helping Hand or Life Dew almost every single time.
No, we haven't. You assume that it has it, but there's always a chance that you're just running something else crazy on there.
Well, the way you play Clefairy is you just never click Follow Me, right?
Yeah, so, that's what I always do.
Yeah, I guess you have to keep them honest at some point and click the Follow Me button, but we haven't seen it yet.
All right, so Goodra's going to come in. I believe we're on the last turn of Trick Room. JD still has all of his Dynamax left. This is another instance. We never confirmed if Lapras was weakness policy. There's a good chance that it's on this Goodra, so I don't really know what you go for in this instance. I know that Rozzy probably wants to do whatever they can to either KO the Hatterene or put it into KO range for the next turn when Trick Room's over.
Yeah, that seems like a very safe decision. Just at least trying to. Oh, as we see, the Goodra under speed. Did we miss something? Did Trick Room go?
I think we must have Trick.
Yeah, we must have missed Trick Room expiring. Right? Sorry about that.
Well, okay then.
As we see the Phantasm come out into the Goodra, doing near 50%, which is a lot considering Friend Guard and
the screens. Yeah. So I'd say that's not bad damage at all.
And then we can see from this Dazzling Gleam coming out
if it's weakness policy or not. Yeah, there's a weakness policy on the Goodra. So presumably the light clay is on Lapras, giving Rozzy the maximum turns of screens that they can get.
Yeah. An interesting light clay 3 attack set, which we don't see very often. You generally see Perish Song as the last move there, but in a more offensive metagame, it does make a little bit of sense to go with the electric move instead of Perish Song.
Well, Rozzy didn't go for Protect in face of max Overgrowth, so there's a chance that it doesn't have Protect and it's using Perish Song as a max guard.
That could be interesting. It also, I guess, theoretically could be Assault Vest, because we never even saw a max guard, did we?
No, we didn't, yeah. So, all that we've confirmed is where the weakness policy is, which is great information for Game 2 regardless.
As we're going to see Nibs attempt to get another Trick Room off. I'm not sure how it's going to go.
Yeah, going for the single target Ice Beam down on this Hatterene. I think it's just going to go down to that.
Yeah. As we still have not seen a Follow Me come out from this Clefairy.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not even sure if it has it.
Right? You think you'd want to protect your Goodra in this position, especially since you just got the weakness policy procced.
Yeah, and I think and as we see Steel Spike, I don't know, into the Goodra, this should KO, right?
Yep, it does get the KO.
Yeah, maybe this Clefairy just does not have Follow Me. I'm not sure what its other moves would be other than Life Do Helping Hand, maybe Protect, and like I don't even know. Icy Wind, Moonblast after you,
Yeah.
but
All
we'll see the
right.
Scizor switch in here.
Yeah, Scizors, and we're gonna see what Rozzy had as the last. There's the Barraskewda.
Now here's the real question: does Bullet Punch to it KO Barraskewda?
With Friend Guard and the screens up, it's a resisted move, so I do not know. I would say that if you're Rozzy, you're gonna go for the kill on Delmise this turn, and then I don't know. Do you click follow me at this point? Do you just keep going ham with Clefairy supporting? There's
I don't
the
know.
follow me.
We finally see it. So interesting. The Grassy Glide does. Grassy Glide.
Okay,
That's an
man,
interesting
really, really good. And a Poison Jab. That does not do a lot. I would
No,
have
not
expected
at
that
all.
to do more.
We do
And
see the Sword
Stance.
Well, now we might get to see how much this Bullet Punch is doing to Barraskewda in the next coming turns. I'm really thinking it's gonna do like once screens are out, it probably at +2 does like 89%.
It's definitely going to pick up the KO onto Clefairy. I don't think that thing stands a chance. And yeah, so Nibs didn't prioritize Trick Room because both of his Mons had priority moves, and that's actually really cool. I'm actually surprised to see something that isn't Rillaboom with Grassy Glide.
Yeah, I just like didn't even think about the fact that other Pokemon actually got that move.
Yeah, I forget that all the time. I think it's like its signature move now.
Yeah, its signature move is much worse than Drum Beating, sadly.
Oh my god, I forgot that Drum Beating even existed. So yeah, if you're Nibs, you just go for a straight up Bullet Punch and a Grassy Glide at this point. Let's see if that's what you decide to go for.
Yeah, we see the
Bullet Punch. Definitely gonna get the KO on Clefairy. Scizors is mean.
Yeah. That was, I think, what do you think Rozzy's adjustment should be for Game 2? I feel like they need to kind of prioritize doing a little bit more damage with the Dynamax. I would guess that would be the biggest adjustment. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I would definitely say that that would probably be a solid adjustment. You know, maybe not even go for the turn 1 Dynamax because although, you know, it is tempting, especially with Lapras, to get those screens up as soon as you possibly can. In the face of Indeedee and Hatterene, they're just going to follow me Trick Room. So, I mean, you might as well just go for damage that you can. And then, like, try to put them in a position, like, do everything you can to stall out Trick Room, you know, with switches and stuff like that. And then once the end, go for the KOs. Although it's a bit scarier with Indeedee Hatterene because, you know, now that they have Expanding Force, they can go for big damage without Dynamaxing, and no one wants to take Smites and go for Confusion rolls.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much describes how playing against Hatterene can be kind of annoying, especially with the Psychic Terrain up. So I guess the way to do it is to get Chip on both of the Pokemon and then Dynamax, but then again at that point you have to either somehow prevent Trick Room or you have to just deal with those 33% chance rolls of Confusion, which I don't think is the right way to do it.
Another solid thing that Rozzy could go for is just leading with Barraskewda. If it has Propeller Tail, it can just ignore the redirection and go for the KO onto Hatterene.
That's interesting. I just assumed with the Politoed that it's going to be Swift Swim, but it's already fast enough on its own that Propeller Tail might be the way to go, especially with the Whimsicott.
And yeah, Swift Swim definitely is like very tempting, but Barraskewda is so fast that you can very reasonably just like forego that and go for Propeller Tail because being able to ignore redirection, and I believe it also works exactly the same way Stalwart from Duraludon does, that it like ignores moves that like draw and attacks. Just makes things like super. It's just such a good ability, and it's very reliable, especially in a meta that has like follow me's on almost every single team.
Yeah, especially like seeing that we saw the Poison Jab from it the last game. It can hit the Hatterene really hard. If it is in fact the Propeller Tail.
Yeah,
which I guess
a lot of Barraskewdas also opt for close combat too, so it offers super effective damage against the Porygon too. If Nibs decides to go with that for the Trick Room setter this time.
Yeah, it seems like a good Pokemon. Yeah, as we see the Barraskewda Clefairy, maybe pointing to the fact that it is Propeller Tail.
Yeah.
The interesting thing here is this Barraskewda probably just dies to an expanding force from the Hatterene if it doesn't Dynamax this turn.
I would not be surprised by that at all. Barraskewda is super frail. Potentially a reason that like Roz didn't want to Dynamax in the first game with like such offensive threats as Delmise and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder if this Clefairy has Icy Wind as its last move. Or have we seen... We haven't seen Protect.
We've seen Helping Hand, Follow Me, Life Dew. Yes, and I believe that's it.
So you would have to have Icy Wind or some form of spread move on this Clefairy to be able to hit if it's a Sash Tatterine. To be able to get the KO before Trick Room goes up. I'm not... Oh, we see Helping Hand instead.
Not even going for the Dynamax.
A very risky play, but also it could work out.
Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Flip turn. Very cool. Okay, so it does... Either Rozzy just targeted the Indeedee or it is Swift Swim instead of Propeller Tail, but I do... Yeah. It's really cool to see Flip turn on something. That was a pretty sick move.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot that was a move. The only time I've ever seen it in this format is the people that are running Scarf Milotic with Flip Turn, and they're Flip Turning their own Excadrills to get the Weakness Policy proc, and I can tell you it is not very good in that sense. It could be good on Barraskewda, though. I never really thought about that.
So this is kind of a better position for Rozzy. You're basically where you were the first set, but now you haven't used any Dynamax, and yeah, you can kind of like go from there. So let's see what they opt to go for. Nibs is just gonna raw switch out. Oh, no Dynamax from Rozzy either, just a Helping Hand.
Wow. As we see the Follow Me from the Indeedee, maybe picking off this Indeedee this turn, and then Dynamaxing the next turn.
Yeah, going for Freeze Dry. It's definitely a smart move to go for the.
It didn't even take off. It didn't even pick off the Indeedee, sadly enough.
But now you're in a bit of a scary position where you're facing a Delmise under Trick Room, and you haven't set your Veil up yet.
Yeah. And we know that one of your other Pokemon in the back is a Barraskewda, which is going to get KO'd by even the not very effective Delmise Max moves.
Yeah.
So we'll see the Dynamax from the Delmise, I presume, this turn, and not the 15 HP Indeedee. As we do. I mean, so at this point, what do you think Rozzy can do to deal with this menacing anchor?
Well, I'd say that you want to stall out its Dynamax for sure. And okay, sorry, I forgot that Helping Hand goes before Protect, and I was like, I'm very scared. Okay, Clefairy going for a Follow Me.
As we see the Overgrowth come out, and I mean, this is going to do a lot. It should
do a solid chunk.
It might just... Oh, does not KO.
Yeah, Clefairy barely hangs on. That's super good.
Yeah, let's see what we see this turn from the Lapras. Freeze Dry, probably just picking out the
Indeedee, yeah, getting rid of that redirection usage.
Yeah. So an interesting thing here is that we're in kind of the opposite position we were last game, where Rozzy went through their entire Dynamax and got 2 KOs, and then got sort of reverse swept. Whereas now that might be the case here, although the Delmise is in a pretty good position to just run through everything at this point.
Yeah, it's got plenty of turns of Trick Room left. Bullet Punch is threatening the KO on Clefairy. You can go for a super easy Bullet Punch and Max Overgrowth, and your Terrain boosted now, so it could KO Dynamax Lapras. But yeah, I'm not too sure at the very least, it's going to take it so low that you're not going to feel comfortable for the next couple of turns of Trick Room you have coming.
As we see,
Fairy's actually going to switches out, and Goodra's going to come in.
Oh, is this Sapsip or Goodra?
Ooh.
I didn't even think about that, the possibility of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Woke Flossie is saying it in the chat as well, that with all the water types, it has to be Sapsip. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would make a lot of
sense. It gives you a really solid switch in.
That's the one thing I always forget that Goodra could possibly have. So
Max Guard. Okay. Bullet Punch. That's not going to KO.
No.
Actually does a lot. I forget how strong Scizor's is.
And I don't know how the attacking into protect versus getting drawn away from Sap Sipper works. So I'm not sure if that's the.
Sap Sipper does not draw in attacks. It's if you get hit by any grass move, you get an attack boost.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. It'd be really cool, especially right now, if it like drawed them in.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think we need to have some Rillaboom counters in the metagame right now. I need my bulky waters to be good again, and not just being picked off by a priority grass move that's pretty much extreme speed.
Ooh, going for the double max guard and failing.
Scizor protects here.
Interesting. Let's see, Max Phantasm coming out into Goodra. Definitely gonna get the KO.
So, I mean, this is a very good position for Nibs to be in at this point, even with the Trick Room just expiring now.
Yeah, as we saw earlier, he does have priority on both of his Mons, and unfortunately, Rozzy does not have a way to change the terrain quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a Max Lightning here would do the job, but...
But it's your last turn of Dynamax, and I think you want to prioritize your screens.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, because in the short term it helps the damage. Unless, I mean, of course, a Grassy Glide is gone for this turn, but it does not look like that's... Oh, maybe? Hovering over the Grassy Glide now. Oh,
Power Whip? Grassy Glide?
Steel Roller?
Oh, Steel Roller. That's cool. I'm just learning these moves right now.
Yeah, I don't think you would want to get rid of your own terrain at this point. It looks like we're going to see the Power Whip into the Lapras.
Going for the Power Whip. So you're getting more damage. Protect on Clefairy, very nice. Keeping that Friend Guard up.
Calling that Protect perfectly with the Swords Dance Power Whip.
Yeah, very, very nice.
As we should see the Resonance this turn. And the Dhelmise is going to take half from this with its Assault Vest.
Yeah, it does a lot more.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I underestimated the power of Lapras.
Well, this should mean that you get to survive the Power Whip. Also, if it connects, it does connect. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot.
Does it get KO'd by Grassy Glide at this point? It looks like it does.
Does it get KO'd by Bullet Punch at this point?
Yeah, I think like a very safe Bullet Punch Grassy Glide both into the Lapras would make sense. Or even just Bullet Punch into the Clefairy and Glide into the Lapras would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know how much Barraskewda is going to take from a +2 Bullet Punch.
Can we take our guesses at this point?
I'm going to guess 80%.
Ooh, with screens up and... I think it's going to be less than that. If it was Life Orb, I guess like somewhere around 45%.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'm just great. Like I've seen Barraskewda go down pretty quickly before. Follow me, totally makes sense. I don't think you're going to survive the Bullet Punch, though.
Yeah, and I don't think the Grassy Glide. And I really want to see this Bullet Punch damage this next turn. And yeah, that is a KO. Mm-hmm. I think the Dhelmise is just too tough for this team. It's an obscure Pokemon that some teams just flat out do not have a good matchup against, and especially against Rain and Assault Vest Dhelmise is going to be about the best thing.
Dhelmise is the big thing. If it was just a regular Dhelmise, Rozzy would be in a totally fine position, but that Assault Vest is definitely causing a lot of trouble. Yeah. All right, let's see what you got, Barraskewda.
I'm thinking, did he go for the Bullet Punch?
I don't think he went for the Bullet Punch.
No, I wanted to see the damage. Wait, what? I wanted to see the Bullet Punch damage. I'm thinking like 45%.
Psychic Fangs, very cool.
I picked up the KO. Barraskewda is strong. Mm-hmm. As we see, I'm going to guess the U-turn. Oh, X-Scissor. Interesting choice of bug move.
That does KO, yeah.
So, well, good games there. I believe that is our final best of 3 for the night.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that was some pretty solid plays from Nibs there. Even with the good matchup, he did predict some of the protects pretty well. Mm-hmm. So, it was a fun team from Rozzy. It just, it sucks the matchup that happened against that Delamise because I wanted to see the Guja put in work.
Yeah, I think that it was genuinely that Delamise that caused a lot of trouble for Rozzy. Like, it seems to just be not a fan of grass types in general, but like such a bulky grass type at that.
Yeah, I think it can deal. Like, interestingly enough, it feels like the team can deal with like Rillaboom decently well.
Yeah, yeah, especially with Whimsicott, you know, you can go for like
Yeah.
a Tailwind. Or like even like a fake Tears.
Yeah, it seems like it can deal with that really well, but it's just the Delamise threw everything off, which, to be fair, like, I wouldn't expect anyone to build to prepare for Delamise, like, early in the format.
Yeah,
So-
no, that's not on my like top 10 list of big threats to look out for.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna cut out for a second just to get everybody organized for, I guess, one final message. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for coming out. Everybody who is new that came from the raid earlier, that has been kind of with us the whole time. Thank you for being here.